I could stare at this all day long. Man, look at those big hips on the dualies. Oh my goodness. So I have a limited Longhorn and a limited. You guys have already seen these trucks probably 2 times before this video, but I just wanted to do one more. I just can't get enough of them. You know, if I don't leave this dealership quickly, I'm probably gonna buy a truck today. And I'm really digging this limited with night edition. Tell me, prove me wrong. This is the baddest truck that I've seen so far in my life with the dually option. You can't beat the night edition on the Rams. I can't wait to see what Ford and Chevy are going to do something similar to this. Like, I'm so glad that Ram did it first, but it looks so good. 37-inch tires with a lift, man, it's a bad truck. But the point of this video is not for the aesthetics of this truck or this limited Longhorn, but the point of this video is to see, is there a difference with the way these trucks ride with a leaf spring suspension setup without air and with the leaf spring setup with air. So let's take a look at this truck's suspension so you guys can get a better idea of what it looks like. If you've been following me for any time frame, I did a video on why I thought Ram was the best HD pickup of all time, and this suspension is part of that reason. On this truck, this is a high output Cummins, they give you a different suspension. So if you get a dually high output, you're going to see these 2 overload leaf springs, and you're also going to see this additional leaf down below right here, this one right here. Now if you do get the standard output Cummins, you would lose this leaf, but you would still get these overload leaf springs right here. And really the purpose of these are just to help create more stability. You have these bump stops here. You probably see this one a little bit better right there. Now let's take a look at the air suspension. Now notice how the leaf springs change. Whenever you get air suspension, you're going to see these sensors. There's one on each side, and those are just going to help monitor the way the truck is riding out back, especially when you add a load. But as you see, you have 4 leaves in the main pack here, and here's just a better look at that system. It does have a bump stop built on there too. You have some shock absorbers still, and when you crawl out back, I'm getting too old for this, but I signed up for this life. You do have an airbag, obviously, on each side. So that's really the difference with this suspension. Now, if you're taking notes, that's basically 3 suspensions for the dualies. This is not including the single rear wheel. You have 2 additional suspensions for a 1-ton single rear wheel 3500. You have airbag like this, and then you have a different leaf spring setup. If you go down to a 3/4 ton, you have 2. You have a 5-link coiled suspension, and then you have an air suspension option. This air suspension is probably what, $1,705, I believe. And yeah, I think that this is a better riding truck, but we're not going to take my word for it. We're going to take it out on the road and see if I'm correct. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so we're going to take this night edition Ram on the road first. So I don't know if the wheelbase will change the ride. It could, but I would think that a stubby dually like that mega cab would ride a little bit worse with, you know, with that wheelbase. It's my opinion. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I would think it would ride worse. But having the air suspension, it should help level out the playing field. So I'm gonna go down the city today. We'll get on the highway a little bit. I've said this in the past. I've noticed a difference with the air suspension at higher speeds. However, I haven't really noticed a difference at lower speeds. I feel like they ride about the same. So when we get downtown, that'll be my deciding factor, and I'll let you guys know. So far, so good. I can't really tell the difference that I'm driving a dually right now. But if I find some train tracks, you will quickly be reminded that that rear suspension is built for towing. And I love how light the steering feels around town. That's one thing I've always grown accustomed to these newer trucks. This truck has that lane keep assist, and I think that system helps to make this steering feel a little lighter. Alrighty, we're downtown. Diesel sounds good. What I normally do when I'm driving into town, I'll lock in third gear, and I'll stay right there, because normally I'm only going 25 miles an hour. Sometimes I'll put it at second, but second you don't have enough RPM. But third gear around town is perfect, and that way it won't try to shift up to, you know, fourth, fifth, if you get up to like maybe, you know, 40. But so far, I mean, I don't know, guys. I might have to keep driving for a little bit longer, because I'm not finding what I'm looking for here. These roads are good here in Thurmont, Maryland. All right, here we go. I should let my wife do this test with me. She's a better gauger for this, because I don't really care as much with the rides. Alrighty, so I'm gonna head back a different direction, see if we can find some a little bit harsher roads. So far, maybe I'm just used to driving big trucks now, but not too bad. I mean, it's definitely stiffer than mine, but even like those bumps, nothing. You know, like I haven't come out of my seat yet, and as you saw, I mean, this suspension on this one is pretty aggressive. I mean, they go above and beyond the competition. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that wasn't bad either. Not bad at all. So we concluded that this truck, although it is a little bit more of a robust suspension, it's not terrible to live with day to day. I think it's well balanced. Going about 50 miles an hour. Here we go. This is a good speed. See, this right here will be the good deciding factor for me, because about 55, 60 miles an hour is when you can really start to feel the truck, you know, kind of shake more and feel a little bit more of the road. That seat's not shaking. This road is a little hilly too, so it's pretty well balanced. Like I said, I don't feel as though this truck is, you know, so stiff to where you couldn't live with it day to day. If you live in areas where you have really rough roads, like if you live in New York, that might be a different story. I mean, that might be harder if you're going 10, 15 miles an hour. That's when the suspension really does become harsh. But yeah, like I said, it's definitely really, really easy to live with, guys. I mean, I can't complain about this truck. They all seem to ride so much better now. I would say probably like from 2005 on, trucks really did start to become better with the ride. And I mean, this truck, it handles pretty good too. Whew. There's a few times where I was driving and I could feel, you know, a little bit of harshness, but it's not that big of a deal. So I've had a lot of people asking this question, like, do you think I can live with a dually day to day? If you're really picky, no. But if you can deal with a few jolts here and there, yes, you can. I'm gonna get on the highway. Those hips, man. It's a really nice truck. So up to 65. It's a little bumpy. If I was driving in my car, I wouldn't feel these bumps. But like, as I'm talking, you don't really hear my voice stammering or anything like that. seat's shaking a little bit of a shimmy, but it's normal. I mean, again, this is a 8,700 pound truck, so you're gonna feel some jolts here and there. And I don't know if you guys can see those things on the back, but those are like noise cancelers too. And I believe that the frame has some type of balancers on them to help to, you know, kind of reduce some of the harshness that you feel. So that's something else you have to consider with this truck. But ultimately, if you're coming from a Lexus LS 500, you're probably going to hate this truck. But I'm not in a position where I can say that I wouldn't be able to live with this day to day. But it's going to be hard to test that air suspension against this. If it's way better, I mean, I'll be able to tell. But I feel as though with the single rear wheels, there is a difference in how the truck rides. Because I own a non-air suspension truck and I drove one back after mine, I noticed that the air suspension did help on the highway. Again, low speeds in city, it does nothing. If anything, I think it makes it harsher. But all in all, this is a good truck. Strongly recommend getting the air suspension if you do have like weights from your trailer like that are like 3,000, 4,000 pounds. That way it'll help level it back out for you. Alrighty, we're gonna drive this air suspension truck now, see what it's about. It does feel different, actually. It feels different. I don't think that the wheelbase makes a difference either, by the way. I think that this truck rides. Okay, I'm gonna hit these bumps on the side here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is so better. This is so much better. Wow. See, when you drive them back to back, you can tell. You literally can tell a difference in how they handle. I wasn't expecting this. I actually thought that it would not be much of a difference, but the air suspension is raising the normal ride height. Of course, you don't feel it. Oh yeah, this rides like my truck, if not better. Let's see here. When you get a little speed up under it, let's see if it feels a little bit more. Oh yeah, this rides so much better. I got a little bit of bumps coming up right now. I'm gonna try to talk through them so you can hear it in my voice. Yeah, this rides smoother. That seat is shaking a little bit. It's way better. I can clearly tell that this truck rides smoother with the air suspension. If I try to do something with the air suspension, it says selected ride height, not permitted due to speed. If you can afford the premium for the air suspension, I would say go for it. It rides so much better. It really does. Like, I'm actually surprised that I can tell a difference. And actually, it is night and day. Uh-oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Shh, people. But yeah, I can clearly tell that there's a difference. It handles a lot more precise. The bumps aren't as pronounced on the road. I would get the air suspension. My next truck, it will have air suspension. I don't care what the problems that arise from it, it's gonna have it. I think that the system's worth the premium. It's covered under the factory warranty, and it's, you know, it's already there, so you don't have to take your truck to a shop to get it done.
horsepower, that 20 extra horsepower. I think the truck has a 410 because it has a max tow, so the truck is quick on its feet. So I'm up to 60. Let me go to 70. Oh yeah. If you are concerned about the ride, get the air suspension. It really does make a difference. I was like, man, I don't think it's gonna make a difference. I think that it's all gonna be all here, but it really does. I promise you, I'm not making it up. I'm not trying to make you spend $1,700 because I'm telling you that you should do it. It really does feel softer. So it does help you with your pin weight, and it helps you with your unloaded weight. I promise you. And you kind of can tell when you look at the suspension, you lose those overload leaf springs, and you get an airbag. So that airbag is adjusting as you go down the road. And it makes sense. Now, when we get down to those speeds, that'll be the true test. All right, it's time to pick on Ford and GM with this exhaust brake. You hear that? You feel that? No brakes. Hooer. Don't ever forget that. Ram. Man, this is a bad boy. Yeah. Air suspension is going to be in my neck truck. It will. Now it's lowering. So it does adjust on the fly. And one thing I like about the system too is it does allow you to ride level unloaded. You hear that? Wow, I gotta turn that off. It's a lot of exhaust brake. So at lower speeds, I'm gonna hit some bumps here. Not bad. Just saying, this is not a bad truck. The verdict of this video, get the air suspension. A lot of people ordering their trucks. I know people will tell you in the colder climates it might give you some issues, but of course if there's any, whenever you have air in a system, it's gonna have, you know, condensation, water, whatever. But I haven't heard of anyone having any catastrophic failures from this. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So there you have it. If you are planning on towing a big trailer, I do think that the air suspension is a huge benefit for that. The other benefit is if you do plan on towing a big trailer, but not as often as some people will, and you still need something that's big, because if you're looking at a big fifth wheel like Montana, Jayco, North Point, Forest River, Cedar Creeks, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, you're going to need something like this. Even the Jayco Ego series, which I like a lot, that one's going to probably need a dually because those get pretty heavy. And with this type of truck, if you have to live with it day to day, I think that this is my pick. Air suspension option, 100%. $1,705, I believe it is. Let's take a look. Actually, it's not a standalone on this truck because it has the max tow package, but I believe it's $1,705. I'll clarify if it's not. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you would like to know the payload of these trucks, I did videos on them already, so go back through, watch them, and give me a thumbs up if you can. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys soon.